Funkle's Customs, where I find all kinds of cars in different places. I usually fix them and flip them, but sometimes I keep them. This is My Garage Revivals.
Today I went to the junkyard to pick up a donor vehicle for us to repair Cyclone's car with. Hello everybody and welcome back to My Garage Revivals. Alright, so it's Friday and we are going to start working on Cyclone's car today. So I did do a little bit of checking on the bodywork, and there are a couple of panels we will be able to save, but I just decided because we've got this whole donor vehicle, it's going to be easier to just swap these panels out because they are straight. So obviously this car doesn't have a hood, but the hood on our car will be something we can save at least. So we're not going to have to replace the hood. So we are going to basically start by taking off everything we need to replace on this thing. And then we will also see what parts we need to get from the donor vehicle. And obviously there are going to be some parts we have to buy new, like the firewall that I've got over here. And also the radiator support, because the one on our car is busted and the one on the donor vehicle is very rusty, as well as the firewall is very rusty. So yeah, we're gonna see what we can actually salvage off this thing and try and put Cyclone's car back together so that we can get this thing to paint. Alright, so I think the first thing I need to do is basically get this car lifted up on the side, because I think we need to take off some of these suspension components for us to remove the damaged parts at the front of the car, because obviously some of these parts are attached to this piece we need to cut out. So we're going to try and see if we can get that part at least separated, if we can call it that. So we've got to basically undo the cross member, and we'll also take off all of the other parts we have over here, like the shock absorber. Looks like that is loose already at the bottom, so we'll just take it off. So this shock absorber is still good, we could still reuse that, but we'll see what other parts we have that are still good. Otherwise we're going to have to basically replace everything that's busted. So in terms of wheels and tires, I am going to buy him some wheels and tires. I think I'm going to choose it for myself, well, decide on myself what we're going to be putting on this car, because I think I've got an idea of what Cyclone would like by now. Right, so there's our brake caliper, which is still in very good condition as well. Alright, so let's continue taking the suspension off. We've got a bad tie rod that needs to come off anyway. So we'll get all of these parts ordered once we know what's going on and what we really need to replace. So let's have a look at this hub carrier. It still seems to be in good condition, so that might still work. Let's just check the actual brake disc and the hub on this, just so that I know what we are working with. Brake disc is still fine, and we've got a hub on this. Let's see how this hub is doing. Yeah, it doesn't look like it took any damage in the accident, so that is a good thing. Alright, let's take off this upper control arm. Alright, so obviously this is completely ruined. We'll have to probably get a new one of these. So yeah, that is to be expected in a front end collision like this. Alright, so the strut rod still looks good as well, so that is good. That is very lucky. And then we've got this lower control arm, obviously, which is completely broken and bent all the way, so we'll get a new one of those as well. Alright, so now I think we should be able to start cutting this thing into pieces. So we do have a plasma cutter, which is a new tool that I went to buy from the shop. So I think the best thing to do would be to try and take off our battery. And we're also going to have to see if we can fix these cables that are basically completely out of whack. Right, so there's our battery. Battery's still good. Alright, so now let's see what we need to take off in order to get that nose taken apart. Obviously this grill that we have on here is quite bent, so we won't be able to reuse that. So let's get this off the car. So we've got a replacement part on the donor vehicle. I just don't know how good it is, but it's definitely better than that one. Alright, and let's see. As for the front bumper, I noticed he's got these color-coded or painted bumpers on the car. So we're gonna see if we can do the same for him by getting the exact same bumper that he currently has on the car and just repaint that for him. Our donor vehicle has got a bumper on, but we'll see if we can get another one of these and just paint it in black as well. Alright, so moving along, we've got our radiator over here, which still seems to be straight. It doesn't look like it took any damage, which is yeah, it's very interesting to see that this is still in very good condition, considering the whole front end of the car has been smashed in completely. But yeah, that's one less part we really need to buy. So we can obviously just get these hoses fixed again, make sure that they are sitting at the right positions, just like that. And then I think now we can start cutting. So yeah, let's see. This is our plasma cutter. So we are going to cut everywhere we need to cut for this panel to come off. And we've got a weld over there and there. Alright, so there goes our front right panel, which is obviously completely ruined. So let's just put it on a pile over there. Right, so the next thing we need to do is maybe see if we can get this door taken off on the passenger side as well. Alright, so yeah, this is quite mangled. I don't think there's any parts that we're going to be able to use off this door. Alright, so where are these bolts? So there they are. So let's see if we can undo them. Alright, so there's our busted door that is completely mangled, and the window winder is also broken, so there's absolutely nothing to salvage of that. Alright, and now we have to basically tackle the next part, which I'm not sure if this is going to be so easy. We're going to see if we can cut this rocker panel off next. And we just got to be sure to get all of these parts cut out. This floor is actually also banged up, so we need to replace that. Alright, let's see what else is keeping this thing in place. There's probably something we need to cut off here still. Alright, well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just carry on with other things. We need to get this floor out, obviously. So let's start cutting this floor off. And also our firewall will come out. So I think let's tackle the passenger side, because we need to get that fender removed. So we're going to put that back over there. Let's grab our wrench. So I think this fender over here should be fixable, but as I said, we've got straight panels on our donor vehicle. So let's just get to all these bolts. Where's the third one? There it is. Alright, so there we go. And that is off. Alright, so yeah, we can put the bad panels over here. So whatever's left of these parts that are usable, we're gonna give it over to Scotia, because he's got a shop running as well, so he always needs parts. So I think we'll get those parts over to him. There's also a front balance we took off. So luckily our donor vehicle has got all of these parts. Alright, so let's continue working on this front. Actually forgot about this radiator support we need to cut off still. Alright, so there's the radiator support off. Right, so that is going over there. Right, so this front panel over here also needs to come off. So we might have to grab our other floor jack. Let's just see. Make sure it's lowered down. Alright. Going to jack it up on the opposite side as well, under the car here. Let's get this thing lifted up. Alright, so let's continue, because we need to get our suspension on this side stripped off as well in order for us to remove that inner fender. So we'll have to work our way backwards from here basically. Right, so let's see. We've got a... Yeah, I think this hood also has to come off. It's going to be in our way. And I think this is also mounted to the actual firewall we are trying to take off here. Alright, so there's the hood. So we'll check this part with some Bondo to see if we can get this 100% straight. Obviously, Cyclone will have to reapply his stickers on it. But let's see what else we can do here. We need to get this corner suspensions off. So let's get this upper arm removed. And surprisingly, there are a lot of loose bolts over here. I don't know if they were ever tightened. Maybe he even forgot about it. Like, some of these things are really loose. Right, so these suspension parts still seem very good. We've got our shock absorber over here. It's also still good. So yeah, everything on this car that we are taking off that isn't mangled are basically still in good condition. So like this assembly, I think everything here should also still be fine. Don't see any damage to the hubs or anything like that. And this tie rod also still looks good, but we'll just take it out of the way. Alright, so now let's see if we can get this cable removed from the car. Alright, so over there, and one on the alternator. Alright, and the last cable bolt will be the one on the starter. Right, so there's our cable. Cable are still, yeah, the cables are still looking good. Alright, our battery tray. Let's get this off. Yeah, it still seems good. Alright, now I think we can start cutting again. So let's see what we can get cut off over here. We've got this panel which we are going to replace. Well, we're going to put this one back again. Not replace it, but put it back. Because it's not really broken. We just need to unbolt the bolts on the bottom of the cross member. So let's quickly do that. Right there and over there. This should free this part up. Right, so that still looks very good. Alright, and then our cross member will have to just hang in there. So that is going to stay like that. I wonder about these torsion bars. Let's see if we can take these torsion bars out as well. So they might be a little bit of a problem. That one is still good. And this one, yeah, that's also still very good. Alright, so let's see. Next up, this driver side door. I did put it back on the car. It was taken off the car for some reason. So, as I said, this was also fixable. But we will, I think we'll just replace everything. Because we've got all the panels we need. Alright, so I think this window winder should still work. And it does. And we've got a good door mirror on this as well. So we'll transfer those parts over to our donor vehicles parts if we need to. Alright, and what else is connected to the firewall? Obviously, yeah, we've got a lot of stuff on the interior connected to the firewall. But let's get this brake master cylinder disconnected at least. And we'll take it off the car. So that we know when we put this thing back together, we've got all the parts removed off of the old firewall. Steering column and stuff like that will take off once we got the firewall out. So let's continue cutting the firewall out. Over there. And we've got one more weld over here. And I believe the roof is also connected to it. And we've got our firewall free. Alright, so this is definitely bent in on this side. So we'll take that out. Alright, so let's get our dashboard removed. Alright, so the dashboard definitely looks like it took a bit of damage. I think it's definitely bent in. Alright, let's get this cluster removed because I think the cluster should still be good. Yeah, I think the cluster is looking fairly decent. Right, let's get all of these parts removed. So there's our wiper motor. Right, so I think we can actually start transferring the parts over to our new firewall. So let's do it like this. As we take it off the old one, we put it on the new one. So let's put our wiper motor back into place over there. Right, so that's the wiper motor installed. See, we've got some wiper linkages. Probably going to be a bit of a problem to get these out. Alright, there we go. We've got our wiper linkages free. Alright, so let's bolt these wiper linkages back onto this firewall. And next up, we're going to take off the pedals, handbrake cable. Well, not handbrake cable, handbrake lever. Right, I think I'm just going to wait for everything to basically fall off on its own. There we go. We've got our pedals. So the pedals will go over here. Alright, that's a little bit tricky. Let's just try that again. Alright, so there's the pedals. And here's our steering column. Alright, I thought this was going to be a little bit of an issue, but we'll manage. Alright, as for the steering wheel, we'll just adjust it a little bit. That looks good again. Right, perfect. I think that's everything off the firewall. Of course, we've got our handbrake lever. And just get that off as well. Right, so the handbrake lever is back on the firewall, and I think now we can get this firewall back into place. Alright, so there we go. That is looking a little bit better. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to just tack weld that thing into place, because the floor still has to come off. So let's just weld it to the roof so that the firewall doesn't go anywhere. Because now we need to take out the floor. And I think the floor will probably come out with the front seat and also the gear shifter. So let's remove those two parts quickly. Alright, so here's the gear shifter. And then we'll get this driver side seat out. Alright, so some of these bolts are already loose. Alright, let's see this one. Alright, so that one was tight and that one was loose as well. Alright, so yeah, that was interesting. We didn't have all the bolts tightened down on the seat. It was only the one at the back. Alright, so let's continue on this side. We've got a couple of welds to cut off over here. And that might actually be a good idea if we took off the gearbox support or gearbox mount. Alright, let's get our wrench over here. We've got our wrench ready. Alright, so let's unbolt the gearbox. And then we'll unbolt this. Alright, there's a lot of loose bolts over here. So luckily we are checking these things. Alright, so the transmission support, that is what it's called. Alright, so that is out of the way. And I believe now we can continue cutting. Alright, so let's cut that off over there. That should let this transmission support drop down, or the torsion support rather. So that is out of the way. And now we need to get this floor removed. Alright, so we don't have any welds over here. We've got a weld over there for the rocker panel. Alright, so there goes the floor. Let's just put that down somewhere. Alright, so there's the floor out. And you can obviously tell that is damaged on the passenger side quite badly. So we'll just put it down over there on a pile. And let's just get this seat out of our way because we keep falling over it. Alright, so now that the floor has been cut out, we obviously don't have any base for the jacks to be in position anymore, so we'll just remove these out of the way as well. And we're going to see if we can get these rocker panels off now. There should be a couple of places we can still cut off. Alright, so that is the one. Alright, and over on this side, it doesn't look like we've got a cut over there, but it seems to be, yeah, a little bit weird, but we've got it off. Alright, so there's our rocker panel off. That is mangled completely. The one on the other side, however, it didn't look too bad. But we'll rather just replace this, because it's going to take a lot of work to get this thing straightened out perfectly. Alright, so now I think we need to start cutting parts of the donor vehicle and start putting it back onto this car, so that we can start with the back end of this thing and also the roof, because the roof is also coming off. I think actually we can take the roof off. So let's take off the roof rack we've got on here first of all. Alright, so that's our roof rack. This still seems to be fairly straight without any problems. Alright, and then let's get our plasma cutter out again. We're gonna cut this roof off quickly. I believe it should be just these few cuts. And obviously our firewall is also gonna come loose again, but that's okay. Alright, and I think this needs to come off over there. And over there. Alright, so there goes the roof with the busted windscreen and rear glass. So that is out of the way. As for interior, Cyclone did order brand new interior for this car, so that'll also be here probably tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, over the weekend sometime. So we can get some new interior fitted in this thing for him when it's ready for that. Let's just grab this part with the trunk, because we need to get that back onto the car again. Alright, so it's time to start stripping the donor vehicle now. Let's just grab our toolbox here as well. Alright, let's see how good some of these parts are. I'm going to start with the front grille, because our front grille is very important. So this front grille is actually not that good, so we might have to replace this, but I think for mocking up and just the purpose of getting the car put together, we'll just use it for now. Alright, so let's get our front bumper off of this car. Once again, as I said, we are going to get the paintable bumper like he had on the car. So we'll just put that on for a temporary measurement. Alright, and there's the front valance we need to take off. So this has got a license plate on it, but that's okay. We'll just use it to get this car put together. Alright, and coming back here, we've got our radiator support we need to cut off. So we'll get it cut off over here. I see it's not even welded on that side, so it's probably going to come off completely. Right, so we don't need this. We don't need anything of this. The radiator's shot, the hoses are shot, and it's very rusty. Alright, and let's see, we've got a couple of bolts for the cross member. So let's get this cross member out of the way. Right, so there's the cross member. And then we are going to cut off that front right panel over here. And I think there's a weld we need to cut over there as well. Right, that should pop off. There we go. Alright, perfect. So this fender actually needs some de-rusting. We've got a couple of bags of sand left, so we'll probably sandblast this. But I think just to get this thing put together, we're gonna do it just like that. Right, so let's grab the front fender over here as well. Right, so this fender we're gonna be using as well, because the one on the car is a little bit banged up, so yeah, we're just gonna use that one. Alright, so we need to get to the floor of this car. So let's continue cutting this thing into pieces, because I'm not too worried about this car. We just need to get the parts we really need off it. Alright, let's cut off the roof at the front here. Alright, let me just undo the bolt on the main brake line over there. So get some of the parts out of the way. Alright, I might be missing some places I didn't cut yet, so obviously let's just go and cut all of these things off. Alright, so there goes the firewall. Right, so that front part of the floor still looks good. Let's get this out of the way, because we've got the two doors on the firewall connected, so we'll take those doors off as well. Right, let's see if we can get that done quickly. Should be fairly simple. Alright, so these two doors should be free. We've got a passenger side door, which we definitely need to replace, because that one is quite banged up. We took off the car. And let's come and see if we can get this door off as well. Right, so here's our driver's side door. Alright, so that is ready to go in. Alright, let's grab our plasma cutter again. See if we can get this floor removed. Alright, there's another weld over there we need to cut. Alright, so there goes that outer panel or inner panel. Alright, let's get our roof removed. Alright, so there's our replacement roof. Alright, I'm just going to continue cutting. We've got a lot of things to cut still. Right, so there's our first rocker panel we need. It's looking a little bit better than the one we took off the car. I might check that if that's got a couple of dents and bangs on it. Right, let's try and take off the opposite side one over here. Alright, so there's the torsion support from this car. Alright, so there goes the rocker panels welds. Probably have another one inside here somewhere we need to cut. It's going to be a bit hard to reach. So there we go. Alright, so is that everything we need to cut? There it is. Alright, and let's get this floor cut off. And we probably have got our seat attached to this. Alright, so there was no transmission support or transmission mount or anything like that to take off. Alright, let's get this seat removed from this floor. Alright, so there's the old crusty seat, and this is the floor that we need to install in the car. So I think we'll be able to start with this now. So let's start putting this thing back together. Alright, let's just put this back in the toolbox, and we'll come back for some more parts as we need them. Let's just get our tools back in the shop at least. Don't want to leave it out in the sun. Alright, I think let's grab our welding machine, which is over here. Gonna start welding this floor now. Right, so that's all the welding we can do on the floor for now. So let's grab our roof on the outside. I think a lot of things are gonna mount to the roof from here on. Alright, so there's the roof into place. Let's get this welded. Alright, and that should secure the roof just for now. And then let's grab our middle lip panel with the trunk. Let's get this into position again. Alright, and let's grab our welder again. We're going to weld. And that should secure that part again. Alright, so this is starting to come together. Slowly but surely, but we are getting there. Right, let's get the firewall into place again. Alright, so the firewall is back into place. And now we've got a lot of welding to do over here. Right, let's weld the roof as well over there, and everything seems to be done for now. Alright, so yeah, we've got quite a lot of work to do. So what I think, let's quickly do this. I just want to make sure this thing is perfect and rust free before I weld this on, because these things are a pain to work on if they are on the car and there's rust on them. So I think while we've got this off the car now, we're gonna just check it. I think this one looks very good. So let's just see if there are any dents on it. So I've got some Bondo somewhere. I think it's probably over there. Alright, so here we go. This is our Bondo. Let me just see if there are any dents on this. No, it doesn't look like there are. Alright, so this is good to go onto our car. Alright, so there's our rocker panel for the driver's side. Let's get our welding machine. Alright, let's weld it to there. We'll get inside. We'll just weld up everything we see over here for now. There are obviously going to be some welds we need to do under the car once we start putting it back together. Alright, let's go and grab our other rocker panel outside. Alright, so here's the other rocker panel. We just need to wash it off a bit. So we can see there's a little bit of rust on this one. So let's quickly go over to the sandblast over here. Alright, let's grab this. Alright, let me blast off this rust on this thing. Alright, so this panel looks like it's rust free now, so I just want to check if there's any dents. There's no dents on that either, so this can go onto the car just like that. And let's grab the welding machine once again, and let's weld this rocker panel into place. We are going to be cutting the quarter panels off as well. Alright, so there we go. We've got all of those welds done. I think there's one over here that I missed. Okay, so that is sorted. Alright, perfect. Now, I think we can start tackling the parts on the front end, but I do want to see if we can get this jack, well, the jacks, both of them, lifted under the car again. Alright, so there's the one. Let's go and do the opposite side. Alright, and let's lift it up a little bit and do a little bit more on this side. Alright, good. Now we've got a worn torsion support, which is quite bad actually, so we need to replace this. I obviously don't have a replacement part at hand. The one outside, yeah, it's also quite bad, but I think it's better than that one. This one is a little bit rusty, so we'll see if we can rather just replace it other than putting that one on. So we're gonna have a little bit of a low suspension at the front for a while before we get that part installed. Alright, so let's get these side panels put onto the car. Where did I put the other one? This is obviously the one we need to weld. Alright, and we'll put that one onto place as well. And then let's get these panels welded back onto the car. Alright, so we've got those panels back into place. And now let's grab our radiator support, the brand new one from the table. Get that onto the car as well. Let's get this welded into place. Alright, perfect. So that is basically sorted out. We've got our brand new radiator support on. So now I think we can start bolting some parts onto this car, just to make it look like a car again. Alright, so there's the front valance. Let's just bolt that to the car. And we'll just get this bumper installed to see if everything is going to line up nicely. Alright, that looks good. Alright, so let's grab the screwdriver. We've got our grill over here that's going to go on the car for now. I am going to order a new one of these for the next episode. On Monday we're going to have a new grill for the car. Alright, and let's see this fender over here. And that can go onto there. That is definitely looking a lot better already. Alright, and as for the driver side door, before we install this, let's see if we've got a working window winder on this door. It doesn't look like... Okay, now it does work. But let's see if the one on our car is a little bit better than this one. Alright, and this one over here. Let's take this one off quickly. So I'm obviously going to have to buy some new windows for this. On the sides, we've got broken windows on both the doors for obvious reasons. Alright, so that one, yeah, it still looks good. Still looks like it'll work. And then we'll also transfer the door mirror from this door, which still seems to be intact, over here. Let's get this removed. Alright, and we'll get this installed onto this door. We'll screw it down. Right, let's grab our wrench over here. Get the door onto the car. And we'll bolt it down. Alright, so there we go. That is basically sorted out. And now we've got our front passenger side door over here. This doesn't have a window winder, and the one in the other door doesn't have a window winder, so we'll have to get a new window winder for this. Alright, so there's our passenger side door. Let's grab our hood. Where did I put the hood? All the way over there. Alright, so let's get our hood back onto the car as well. Alright, and let's quickly remove that bent piece of trim from the hood as well. Get that off, and there we go. So that is something we need to replace. I'm going to just buy some new trim for this car because we are missing quite a couple of pieces of trim. The dashboard is also quite bad, so we'll get a new dashboard. I don't think the dashboard on our donor vehicle is any good, is it? It might be, I'm not too sure. So let's quickly grab our screwdriver and just see what it looks like. Well, it looks a little bit more straight than the one from Cyclone's car. But it all comes down to the actual condition of the dashboard. Yeah, this isn't looking very healthy, so I don't think we're going to install this dashboard on his car. Alright, so let's not bother with that then. Alright, but let's see what else we need to do still. We've got a lot of things that we did already. So the whole front end of the car has basically been replaced. We've got our nose basically straight. We are short of a couple of things basically over here, like our torsion support, and we've got to still install our front suspension back on this thing. So let's just get this cross member bolted down first of all. At least we know that part of the job is done. Alright, and then we'll start with this front suspension. We'll put everything back together that we have on this. Alright, and let's grab, I think the hub carrier can go on next. Alright, let's screw that down. And also that. Alright, let's grab the upper control arm over here. Alright, and the tie rod can go back on. And this time I'm just making sure to bolt everything down. So after finding a lot of loose bolts on this car, I think we're going to have to check every single bolt on this thing just to make sure we've got everything nice and tight. Alright, so here's the front shock absorber for this corner. Just like that, and let's just replace this wheel for now. Alright, and over on this side we don't really have anything to install. We still got to do our brake master cylinder. Alright, so let's bolt that down again. And let's just be sure to do this cable over there, or the brake line over there. And I think this car is starting to look a little bit more like a car again. Alright, so as I've been looking around the shop at what other parts we can install, we've got our driver's seat and this gear shifter, which will make the car drivable again once we get the suspension installed. So I'm just temporarily going to mount these again. So let's grab our driver's seat that we have also, and we'll get this back into the car. And I think over there and over there. And let's grab our roof rack that we have. Let's get this put back on. Okay, so that is a screw. Let's just grab our screwdriver. Right, we'll screw that back into place. And also on this side. Alright, perfect. So that is quite a lot of work, and we still have quite a lot of work to do. So what I think over the weekend, I'm gonna start cleaning up the shop a little bit. We've got quite a little bit of things laying around now, and obviously we still have a lot of work to do to this car. So I need to still replace the quarter panels, or yeah, I might actually try and bondo these out. They might be easy to fix. but at least we don't have to do Bondo work on the whole car. So I think this is going to be something we'll be able to knock out of the park over the weekend. So I'm going to go through this thing with some Bondo, make sure everything is sorted, and then see if we can get the replacement suspension parts for this thing. But I think that is going to be a wrap for this video. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate every view, every like. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. I will appreciate it very much. But yes, until the next time, cheerio.